What's going on, y'all? Straight to the point. Uh, Here again. I'm sorry about the delay. Now, um, Luka, Luka, Luka balled out. Okay, Luka balled out, and I really haven't talked about it too much. Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk about it now. Okay, and I'm gonna address some things that need to be addressed as it pertains to this situation. Now, I'm not here to rain on nobody's parade, not at all. Luka played phenomenal, 49 points. Y'all know, actually, a lot of people don't know this. I've been uh, on the Luka train before everybody else was. Matter of fact, when Luka was playing with Dallas, I had to take a lot of hits from a lot of people sitting up there saying that, oh yeah, well, Luka's too slow and he's too stiff and he can't play no defense. Um, they called Luka a great white hype at one point too, you know. But I was here to tell people that once he makes a, a little bit of improvements with his game in terms of, and I was looking more so defensively as opposed to offensively. I was looking more defensively than offensively, and on top of that, I was looking for him not to be so stiff. He was going to be able to take over because he was coming over from Europe, and he was able to be a closer. Not only be a closer, he was a leader, and he's being a leader now. He leads. I mean, does he lead vocally? Yeah, but to me, he's more of a motivational leader too. He's like come on and willing his team and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And leading by example and stuff. Uh, but he can get vocal too as well. And get on his teammates about stuff. With that being said, though, the problem that I have with Luka scoring 49 points, um, and everyone. I think Rui had like 25. Austin Reeves had he had him a double double. He had like 23 and 11 or something like that. But that was it for the most part. Aiden had 15. But here's the problem. Again, nobody was in double figures in rebounding except Luka. uh, we know that Rudy Gobert couldn't get off. Couldn't really do anything. His stat line was what I think he only had 2, 2, and 7 or something like that. But the problem that I have with Luka um, scoring all those points and everything is not him necessarily scoring the points, but what help does he have? The Lakers don't have a bench. That's what we fail to realize. Nobody really did anything off the bench. And here's another thing too. Dalton Connect, you got to get him involved. Gabe Vincent. I mean, he does stuff, of course, that's not going to show necessarily up on the stat sheet. But sometimes you got to get a guy like Gabe Vincent involved. Um, but none of those guys on the bench are really doing it. They're not doing anything, you know. And going forward, that's going to have to play in your favor. If you look at a lot of these rosters in the Western Conference, particularly, they have guys that are coming off the bench that can be a spark and have several of them. Case in point, OKC Thunder. The reason why the Thunder are so dangerous is because those guys are they're coming off the bench. They got multiple guys on that bench that can be scrappy, that are able to shoot the three or shoot a little bit. Some of them might be able to shoot the mid range, and a lot of them bring energy too, and they're all over the floor. That's why OKC is so dangerous, and they're dangerous even without having their their second best player in Jalen Williams. Well, I I don't know. I don't know who's a. Let me see. Between him and Chet Holmgren, I'll probably give it to Jalen Williams. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Williams done did a lot, but Chet Holmgren, you can put him second or third. It don't matter. The thing about it is, man, is Luka, for as good as he is, let's not forget, man, Luka, when when he does all the scoring and he gets off and does what he does, sometimes he'll get those injuries that'll come out the blue. Luka tends to be uh, injury prone. Now, is he injury prone like a AD or sitting out like Zion and stuff like that? No, but sometimes there have been times when you turned around and you had to look and you're like, dang, Luka, he's out again. That's what you don't want, because you take away Luka and then you got LeBron. Is LeBron gonna be able to fill the void? Well, and let's say Luka gets hurt now. Let's say he gets hurt now. Are they gonna have what are they gonna do if Luka is gone? Then you got a guy that you heavily relying on. They don't have no bench and everything. So I understand that they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, Ant Ant Man still put up 31, and a couple of those guys on Minnesota still did their thing. But everybody's jumping up for joy that Luka, scored 49 and had 11 rebounds and everything. But what about when they play teams that are deep? What about it? Because okay, then Luka, what he gonna have to put up 60? He's gonna have to exert all this energy and stuff, and it might take a toll on him. Now, with LeBron coming back, with LeBron coming back, let's see how everything plays out. Okay, let's see if he'll still be able to play the way that he's playing. Now, earlier I had said that LeBron wasn't cheering and stuff like that. I wasn't referencing it to the this game when he played the Minnesota Timberwolves. I was talking about the very first game. I was talking about the first game that they had played. Okay, that's the game that I was talking about. He really didn't have too much to say. But this game, he cheered a little bit, and I was talking about that in the previous live. But Luka, he played phenomenal. Okay, but at the end of the day, other guys are gonna have to contribute. Other guys are gonna have to contribute. Yeah, please hit the like button. Salute, Brown Sugar. But like I said, Luca, he played phenomenal. But another thing is another thing that we also got to look at too is what type of identity is JJ Redick going to establish, especially going into the playoffs. What's he going to establish? What are the Lakers going to be known for? They're just going to be known for a one man wrecking crew, uh, involving Luka. What are they going to be known for? And I'm not trying to come off like I'm hating because I'm not. I think that them being able to win like that is phenomenal with a guy in Luca who had all the points and stuff like that and was able to get his buckets and stuff. That's great, but they're not. I don't see them beating the OKC. Hell, I really don't. Like I said, I don't see them beating Houston. I don't see them beating Houston. I don't. I definitely don't see them beating San Antonio. San Antonio is the ones that you really got to look out for. San Antonio is deep. San Antonio don't even got De'Aaron Fox yet, and they're winning the way that they're winning. So like all this stuff about, oh yeah, he put up 49, and now people up in here talking about, yeah, like they gonna win a chip and everything, which I would like to see that. I would like to see Luca lead them to a chip. If that would be phenomenal. But we all know that that's not going to take place. He's gonna have these games where he puts up buckets and stuff. But let's let's slow down a little bit. We are talking about a team that is not deep, man. They're not deep. I don't know a guy that's gonna come off the bench for them and be like a Austin Reeves and everything. Now, will will things change for them once LeBron comes? It's gonna have to, because then now you inserting another guy in there who's gonna demand the ball, who wants the ball just that much more. You're gonna be around a guy that has to have the ball too as well. It's not gonna mix well. It's not gonna mix well. So him cheering and stuff like that, hey, we'll see if he can get on the floor with Luca and if everything can, mix up well. But also I'm concerned about, are these guys gonna, because we've been hearing constantly that these guys don't get in the gym with one another and everything like that. Are these guys gonna get together and really work with one another, man, and say, okay, let's reach a common goal, or is it just going to be for the entertainment shenanigans? Octavia, Texas made. I see you in the building, man. Salute to you. Texas always represents. How you feel about it, Octavius, man? I mean, the Lakers. You know, you're a true Lakers fan, not just a LeBron fan or a Luka fan or anything like that. You're a true Lakers fan. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because what I see, okay, yeah, Luka's a one man wrecking crew and everything like that, but Aiden can't even get 10 rebounds. You need Aiden, like I think somebody was saying earlier. I think it was Stephen Green in the previous live that I put up. Aiden got to well, no, it was Matt Moses. Shout out to Matt Moses. Matt Moses was saying that Aiden, um, is still learning and still maturing and growing and stuff like that. But you still need Aiden to play. I listen. If y'all gonna be successful, Aiden is gonna have to play somewhat near like he did when he was in Phoenix. Exactly. Exactly. That's why, like, Aiden. I mean, Octavius. That's why I was saying I'm not going to sit up here and jump up for joy that uh, Luka scored 49. Is it phenomenal? Yeah, it's always great when Luka. This isn't anything new, but Luka putting up scoring outbursts, he's going to have pretty more. We can't have our guards out rebound. Exactly, exactly. That's what I was saying. You say your boy Luca, but it's a team game. It's a team game, man. Everybody else got to be in cohesion. You're saying your boy Luca, and you mentioning that and everything, but what about the Lakers? That's what it's about. It's about the team. What about those guys that are on the bench? Y'all have no bench. I put to you like this, Ted. You can't even you can't even beat OKC right now. You saying it's early? You can't beat San Antonio right now. Y'all don't have no type of bench. You sitting up in here talking about it's early. No, you don't need Aiden at no 20 and 10. You don't need Aiden at 20 and 10. See, that's the thing. You need Aiden. That's what I was saying last time, Ted. Aiden needs to all he needs to do is get more. He needs to be more in the rebounding department and blocking department. If you go back to the Phoenix days, Aiden wasn't putting he put up 20 every once in the blue moon. But if you go back and go look at the stat sheet, 15 rebounds, a couple of blocks. You know what I'm saying? He was doing stuff like that. He was more concerned about rebounding, being a rim protector and stuff like that. You can't have Luca having 11 rebounds. Yeah, Mav lost to the win. Well, no. He- uh, well, see, the Wizards, the Wizards aren't as bad as what you think. The Wizards play a tough game, man, and they got Chris Middleton, but you said your boy Wimby is finally posting up more. Listen, man, Wimby came in with a face-up game, and now he's putting it all together. He was still a phenomenal player, regardless if he didn't have a face-up or not. That's what you fail to realize. This dude was playing both ends of the floor. Why won't we talk about that? But y'all worried about back to the basket. He's going to develop that. He's been in the gym with KG. He's been in the gym with Hakeem Olajuwon. He's been in the gym. Of course, he's gonna be in the gym with the other Spurs Hall of Famers. You said Hakeem done created a monster, exactly, and so did KG. Wizards, yeah, they play. Listen, they play a tough game because they like Octavius just said, they don't really have, you know, that guy. So everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's the same Wizards and everything like that. Nah, you can't just look at them like that. You can't underestimate everybody. You said Wimby trained with Hakeem, not David Robinson. Well, no, but the thing about it is they he's in the Spurs culture, so they're always going to work with him. And there's nothing wrong with working with David Robinson. I mean, look, we all know that Hakeem he cooked David Robinson. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. You know what I'm saying? But let's not make no mistake about it. Before the injury, before that really bad injury that David Robinson had, David Robinson was a monster, bruh. David Robinson was a monster. So I'm not looking at David Robinson. You said most complete center ever was Hakeem Olajuwon. Yep. I mean, some people say Wilt. Some people say Wilt. You know what I'm saying? Because Wilt could do a lot too for him. But the only reason I picked Hakeem is because I watched Hakeem. I witnessed Hakeem. I I witnessed Hakeem cook Shaq. I witnessed Hakeem cook Ewing. I witnessed Hakeem cook David Robinson. I witnessed Hakeem cook Alonzo Mourning. I witnessed Hakeem cook all these bigs that that were playing back in the day. I witnessed it. So me choosing somebody like uh, Bill Russell or somebody like Wilt Chamberlain or something like that, it's not gonna add up. It's not gonna add up because I mean I look at them in film, but I'm talking about watching them off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was young, you said King made the mother centers look like role players. Yeah, I mean, look, when he played Shaq, see, I talked about this the other day. When he when he played Shaq in the final, Shaq did a pretty good job. As a matter of fact, he he had more games in which he had blocks than Hakeem did. Hakeem had 4 blocks the first 2 games, and then his next 2 games he didn't have any blocks. Shaquille O'Neal only had 1 game in which he didn't have any blocks. But the difference, though, Hakeem uh, he knew how to be effective on that block. He knew how to you know take his time without taking his time. If that makes any sense. He was so smooth with it, man. You know what I'm saying? He made things look so effortless, and he did it on the defensive end too. He did it on the defensive end in multitude of ways, getting blocks and steals. You know what I'm saying? So it kills me when people they sit up there and they talk about Wemby not doing. All they do is down Wemby, but all you're doing is really just motivating that dude. Everybody and their mama knows that if Wemby didn't get hurt last season, he would have had Defensive Player of the Year. Now, Wemby could potentially not only win the MVP, but win Defensive Player of the Year as well. You know what I'm saying? And he'll be in a new group. Yeah, Wemby, everybody talking about, oh, he's too big and all this other stuff. Well, they thought Wilt Chamberlain at one point was a cheat code. They thought, what's his name was a cheat. They thought Yao Ming could have been a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? They thought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar could be a cheat code. You said 7-4 center with a crossover. I seen. Yeah, I mean he was cooking the whole front line with the Dallas Mavericks. But more importantly, let's talk about when he played Zion just last night. He had 9 blocks. I'm more impressed with what he does defensively. Like I said, all this stuff about how he offensively and back to the basket and all that other stuff. He's already naturally gifted, not only from a physical standpoint, but also having moves in his repertoire. He's already gifted. He just needs to, just tighten up on a few things or whatnot. But the knack to play defense the way that he does, to defend the pick and roll, to get out there on the perimeter, and at 7-4 move the way that he does, to be able to block the ball and still run up the floor with those other guards, because it's not like he's playing with slow guards. He's playing with Vassell. He's playing with Castle. He's playing with Sohan. These guys know how to get up the floor. They be flying. Then he gonna be playing with De'Aaron Fox. You said Lively too. Yeah, Lively, and I like Lively too. I like Lively. I like Lively. I like P.J. Washington. I like um uh what's old boy's name, man? They don't have him right now. Um Gafford. Gafford. That's who it is. But they didn't have Gafford, so. But then, of course, he cooked Cooper Flag too. He gave him a welcome to the NBA, a welcome to the NBA initiation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but Wimby gonna be straight, and he's only gonna get better. Like they wanna rush people. And you said Cooper is not important. Yeah, well, yeah, we know that. We definitely know that, Octavius. We were talking about that in the previous live. He's not a point guard. Kid needs to put him at the either the 3 to 4. Well, we got AD at the 4. He or I hate to say this. I know you want to start him real bad, but you don't want to. You got to put him in the front. You got to put him in the front court. You brought him in here. He's a number one pick. You're gonna have to swap somebody. You're gonna have to be like, look, he's a number one pick. One of y'all got to get out. They want him to be Luka. No, no. He first off, they don't play the same style. Like Luka is just a better scorer. He Luka knows how to he knows how to break his man down better. He's great on the 1-on-1 on the island by himself. He's he's got that little he can post you up a little bit and hit the fall away. You know what I'm saying? He could get to the rack. You know what I'm saying? He don't even need all that speed and stuff like that. He's unathletic than a motherfucker, but guess what? He's still able to absorb contact and still get to the cup. You said they need to have Flag on the break, let him get easy buckets on the break. Then on defense, let him roam, get steals and blocks. Exactly. Excellent logic on that one. I was thinking the same thing. Cooper Flag. If you looked at him at Duke, yeah, he handled the rock and stuff like that or whatever. And sometimes I'd be like, look, man, you dribbling the ball too much because, Duke is my squad. So, listen, everybody thinks like I just started watching Cooper Flag. No, I've been watching Cooper Flag ever since a little bit before Duke. And then when he got to Duke, I was zeroed in on him. because I was fascinated. He was the youngest guy to play. I think he was still like 17 or something like that when he was playing. He was extremely young, and I was like, okay, let's see it. And a couple people were like, yeah, you being too hard on him and stuff like that. Well, hell, they was hard on Bronny James. That's what I said in the previous live. They was hard on everybody that came in. Anybody that's a number one pick, everybody gonna come in. If LeBron James didn't do good his first time when that first night when he played Phoenix and he had 25, guess what? Guess what? They'd have been talking about him bad too. You see how they did the brother Kwame Brown. He didn't pan out like how some people wanted him to pan out. And guess what? They started calling him a bust and all this other stuff. He was the number one pick. You know what I'm saying? So, but Cooper Flag is gonna be just Cooper Flag. I was comparing Cooper Flag to somebody like Tom Chambers because Cooper Flag is athletic. He's athletic. It's just that him playing at the point guard. That's that's unorthodox. That doesn't seem right. Like to me, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come in playing point guard. That's not his position. Now, a lot of people feel like Jason Kidd might get fired because of this and all that. You said I compared him to Andre. Everybody, you know what? Like, I man, AK-47, Andre Kirilenko, or Kirilenko, he to me he was more of a how could I say it, man? He kind of looks like a Nicholas Batum type of guy. One of them type of guys, man. He'll get you a point. He'll get you a rebound. He'll get you a couple rebounds. He'll get you some steals and stuff like that. He can score a little bit, stuff like that. But I think that Cooper is way better than well, he has the potential to be way better than AK-47 simply because he knows how to score the ball a little bit better. I'll give Cooper that. Now that was on a collegiate level. We got to see him in the NBA on the NBA stage, and we got to see him. He might have a game where he'll mess around, get 30 or 40 or something like that. Might be this year, and then it'll be his coming out. But eventually, he gonna break up out of his shell. It's just probably taking a little bit, But on opening night, you were gonna get the smoke because they wanted to give Bronny James the smoke. They want to give all these people that were number one picks. They wanted to give them the smoke too. So as a top level pick, as a number one pick and everything, you gonna get it too. But nah, I don't see. I just see him as like Tom Chambers. That's who I told the brother Too Raw for TV. Shout out to him. I told him that he reminded me of Tom Chambers. Even though I think Tom Chambers was a little taller. I think Tom Chambers like 6'11" or something like that. But that's who he reminds me of because he could get up. Cooper catching ollies and stuff like that, and that's what people wanted to see. People wanted to see that Cooper Flag. They wanted to see him coming out, rising up over somebody and stuff like that. That's what they wanted to see. I know that's what I wanted to see. I ain't gonna lie. I was expecting him to do some shit like VJ Edgecombe was doing. Just coming through the lane with reckless abandon. You know what I'm saying? Letting it be known I'm the number one pick, but we didn't get to see that. Maybe it'll be another time. Yeah, VJ Edgecombe, he's that guy, man. And he played at Baylor too. Tavius, he was hooping at Baylor, man. He's something ridiculous, man. A couple people believe that he could be our franchise player. I'm kind of pumping the brakes a little bit. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, in saying that. We'll just have to see what happens, But I like his upside. He has tremendous upside. This guy right here, man. He's explosive. That's one of the things that I liked about Cooper. I felt like Cooper flag, was explosive. But getting back to the Lakers, man, uh, you right about that. I think somebody was sitting up here saying that Luka, Luka and Cooper, they're not the same. Absolutely not. They're not. They not the same. They don't even play the same. Whatever they trying to do, Luca, make Cooper, Luca, and all this other stuff. No, man, stop it, stop it, man, stop it. Like right now, I don't see Cooper being as effective on an island by himself. You said 76ers need to trade Embiid and Paul George and build around. Well, they're not going to do that. Uh, for one, uh, these guys had recently just signed. They're not going anywhere because you got to think about it. They just signed extensions, so they're locked in. They're locked in for that time. They're not going to go anywhere. And even if they wanted to try to trade Embiid, Octavius, thing about it is believe it or not, Joel Embiid, he had uh, the say so on where he wants to go. That's the messed up part about it. And then another team has got to willing to be able to take on that headache. They got to be willing to take on that contract. You said Mavs got cooked by the Wizards last night. Yep, they did. They sure enough did. The Wizards, like Brown Sugar was saying earlier, the Wizards are not to be. You can't just look at the Wizards like, oh man, we just gonna run over these guys. And no, these guys are gonna come out playing. They're gonna play hard too. Jason Kidd's ruining Cooper Flag's development by playing him at the one. He just needs to go ahead and move him to the other position. Now is it? I'm not gonna say it's gonna ruin his development because if you're a good, you're either a good player or you're not. You're either a great player or you're not. Will it add some things to him? Will it give him a different look? Yeah, but I agree with you. Uh, he needs Jason Kidd needs to move him to his normal position. VJ Edgecombe might win Rookie of the Year if he keeps playing at the high level. Yeah, he will. I mean, everybody's expectations was that Cooper Flag was going to win Rookie of the Year. Now they don't see VJ Edgecombe. No, VJ Edgecombe right now, if he just stays healthy and everything like that, he could win it. You said they not my team, but I'm so close. I would be checking them out. Who you talking about, Brown Sugar Baby? You said Wimby barbecued Lively and Anthony Davis with ease. Yeah, he did. The whole front line. And on top of that, he was cooking the guards too. Especially on the pick and roll. You said the Spurs or the Wizards. Yeah, and that's in your area too, Shawty. You said the Spurs might finish top five season where Wimby continues to produce like he's been doing the first two games. And not only that, to take it a step further too, Dante, they might he might end up winning MVP. Like I was saying, he might be an MVP candidate. Some people feel like it, and Defensive Player of the Year. I want him to get his Defensive Player of the Year. We all know that Evan Mobley wouldn't have got it. It like I said, Evan Mobley. I like Evan Mobley. He had a very good season, but Wemby having that blood clot, we all know that he would have won Defensive Player of the Year. He would have won. Now, uh, the Spurs will be good. I see the Spurs, and I've said this even before the season had even got brewing. I said, look out for the Spurs. I said this last year. I said the Spurs have something brewing over there. And then you sign De'Aaron Fox. Oh my God! And a lot of people they don't. I don't know what it is. They're not paying attention to De'Aaron Fox, but De'Aaron Fox, man, he can score, he can play make, he can get. It's just that y'all haven't watched enough of him because he's been in Sacramento so long. They don't really show a lot of Sacramento games like that. You know what I'm saying? But now you finna see De'Aaron Fox. I play a lot more. I like De'Aaron Fox game. At first, I really wasn't into De'Aaron Fox like that, but the more I watched him, um, the more I appreciated it, his game. I appreciated his game, and what he brings to the table. Him being over there with Wemby, that's going to be a nice combination, especially when he gets back. And they got a whole bunch of explosive. That like this isn't the San Antonio of old, man. And it's no knock on the San Antonio Spurs back in the days because they were champions and everything. But these guys are flying up and down the floor, man, getting up the floor. Wemby's flying up and down the floor. Castle flying up the floor. Vassell flying up the floor. You know what I'm saying? These guys are active and they play defense too. Last night with the Pelicans, Wemby fouled out, right? Wemby fouled out. But guess what? They were still able to close the game, and that's what I wanted to see. Can you still get it done with Wemby? With Wemby, like being in foul trouble or something like that. And the New Orleans Pelicans fans, they were cheering. They were cheering like it was over with, like they were finna win the game and stuff. Like Zion and them had a shot. Nope, the Spurs still got out of there, and they still got out of there with a dub. They still were able to close the game, and that's what you need. You got other guys that were able to because Wemby is such a he's such a he would distract a lot of shots. You know what I'm saying because of his size, man. It's like he a lot of people look at Wemby now. I hate to say it, they're looking at him as an imposing figure. Like, and this guy is very imposing because it's like, damn, we got to deal with a guy that's not only 7'4" on him, but can also rim protect too. He can also get pretty much snag every rebound. This guy can come through the lane at any given time. Everybody. That's all I heard. Oh, he's tall for nothing. He just got gigantic. He ain't gonna do nothing. All this other stuff, man. Nah, he a cheat code. He a cheat code, man. and you gotta appreciate that. I know a couple guys they don't want to really come out and say it, but they're gonna be like, man, this unfair. Man, he can't help that he was blessed that he was 7. Excuse me, that he was 7-4. He can't help that. You know what I'm saying? You better go holler. You better go holler at the Most High. Go holler at the Most High. But yeah, you know that was it, man. I know I went off the subject a little bit, but I was basically just talking about Luka and pretty much letting people know that the Lakers still got a long way to go, um, especially as it pertains to their bench, and especially when it pertains to uh, them in the rebounding department because they had, if I'm not mistaken, I think they got out rebounded. They got out rebounded. I might be wrong. I could be wrong, but the Minnesota Timberwolves out rebounded them. I could be wrong, but I will say this: there's no reason that Aiden he had 15 points, but and that's what Shaquille O'Neal was saying. Shaquille O'Neal has really been on Aiden, man. I, and I can't even be mad at Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaquille O'Neal wasn't the greatest defensive player that there was, but um, Shaquille O'Neal was going to get you double digits in rebounds. So, but besides that, I'm about to just go ahead and end this live, y'all. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit them notifications. Straight. I'll get at y'all later.